In the extreme Himalayan heat, at altitudes pushing 16,000 feet, the mountains literally bleed. A thick black resin oozes from jagged rock fissures. Sanskrit texts identify this substance as Shilajit, the conqueror of mountains. It has recently surged in popularity online, trending as a potent anti-aging and energy-boosting super supplement. When presented with a jar of sticky, expensive mountain dirt, it's worth investigating. Is this a genuine biological tool or simply a masterpiece of modern marketing? The reality begins with a warning. If you scaled these cliffs and consumed raw resin straight from the rock face, it provides no benefit. It would actively poison you. Shilajit is a complex, ancient phytocomplex. In its raw state, however, it remains so dangerous that precise human intervention is required to transform a deadly substance into a safe supplement. Deep within the Himalayan crust, tectonic pressure slowly compresses ancient plant matter into a dense, mineral-rich resin over 4,000 years. But this pressure traps a lethal payload. Embedded within are heavy metals, rock fragments, and mineralized animal waste. Because Himalayan geology bakes these toxins directly into the resin structure, producing a safe product requires a high-altitude harvest and a sophisticated purification process. This terrain, located primarily in the Pir Panjal and Karakoram ranges, above 12,000 feet, is among the most hostile on Earth. The harvest occurs during a brief summer window. Harvesters must wait for solar radiation to warm the cliff faces, softening the resin just enough to allow it to ooze from the stone. Local extractors scale these vertical drops using primitive ropes and hand chisels. It is a slow, manual process that requires scraping the resin directly from the rock while suspended hundreds of feet in the air. This resin cannot be manufactured in a laboratory. Every gram requires a harvester to risk their life on a sheer mountain wall, explaining why pure Shilajit has remained one of the most valued substances in history. Once the raw resin reaches lower altitudes, it undergoes shodhana, an ancient Ayurvedic protocol for purification. The process involves dissolving the rock-bearing material in water and a herbal decoction known as triphala. This triggers a natural separation. Heavy metals and inorganic grit settle at the bottom, while the organic resin remains suspended. After filtration, the liquid dries slowly in the sun for several weeks. This gradual evaporation concentrates the bioactive resin without using the intense industrial heat that would degrade its chemical integrity. Shodhana serves as a precise chemical filtration protocol. It isolates delicate bioactive compounds while stripping away the lethal contaminants trapped during formation. The primary driver behind these benefits is fulvic acid. This molecule accounts for 60 to 80% of the resin and acts as an exceptionally efficient biological carrier. This creates a dangerous paradox in raw Shilajit. Fulvic acid is an indiscriminate carrier. If unpurified, the acid binds to poisons, dragging them across the intestinal barrier into the bloodstream. In purified resin, the mechanism changes. With heavy metals removed, the carrier molecule binds to essential trace minerals, delivering them safely into human cells to support energy production. Purification functions as the critical biological switch. The toxic heavy metal payload is replaced by an efficient delivery system for cellular energy. Transitioning from tradition to the lab, we have to ask, does this purified resin survive the scrutiny of modern pharmacology? Data regarding energy and muscle recovery is increasingly clear. Fulvic acid and compounds called dibenzoalpha-pyrones repair mitochondrial dysfunction, which helps fight chronic fatigue and accelerates muscle tissue repair. Clinical findings on male reproductive health are equally specific. Studies have recorded measurable increases in testosterone levels, sperm count, and motility after 90 days of consistent supplementation. For cognitive health, the acid serves as a biological shield. It prevents the accumulation of tau proteins, which are the primary proteins responsible for brain cell damage in Alzheimer's and other forms of cognitive decline. The ancient title, destroyer of weakness, is a functional description of how these molecules operate. They are precisely tuned to rebuild human vitality at the cellular level. Modern delivery systems are now evolving further. Scientists are binding Shilajit to phospholipids to create phytosomes, significantly increasing the amount of resin the body can actually absorb. For the consumer, the rules are rigid. Authentic Shilajit must be a lab-tested, purified resin accompanied by a certificate of analysis. Low-grade powders and raw fakes are unsafe for human consumption. The miracle of Shilajit is not just the 4,000-year geological process that created it. It is the unbroken chain of human ingenuity required to extract, purify, and safely mobilize this ancient chemistry.